so far away from the generally pretty calm and collected team that they are. And earlier in the game, they were playing so well around enabling Ruler. So, yes, please, ban the Udyr. Or first pick it, but don't first pick Udyr, because I don't think Klid's going to do as well. Just take it out. Let it go.
Well, right now they're actually looking at Life's champion pool, probably hoping that he goes back towards... Oh, sorry, Life is looking at Becca's champion pool. As the Kalista taken away makes sense against Ruler. Also, they feel like they ban the Kalista and then they stop the Ruler and Life, you know, Jarvan Kalista combo. Right? But we saw the Jarvan come through anyway, as like you say, the Udyr will be banned. The Taliyah also, as DRX will just first pick the Kai'Sa as per usual. And we'll see where Gen.G are going to go with the next round. I'd like to see something different in the jungle. I don't know whether the Olaf is all that fantastic to be priority picked, but maybe now without the Udyr here, Klid's going to feel a little bit more enabled.
If you pick Olaf or Orianna here, I'm 100% fine with that. I think Kara's has shown in the first game that we don't know what the reason is, right? If it's the nerves or if it is that he's not really ready to play at this level, right? Like, that's all possible. I don't really want to speculate on that, but I do want to say that it was clear that he was not pulling his weight, and that's fine. I don't think that requires, like, that really warrants much more than that. But it is important to note, and I think a champion like Orianna just makes it so easy. Now, with the Nidalee pickup, you can go completely different ways, right? I wouldn't even care if you throw it back to the set, you know, just steal the drafts from...
Yeah, maybe.
Numshim.
That's an opportunity. I'd like to see something like Kiana, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Oh, that would be very dirty. Very, very dirty.
Pyosik thinking about doing the thing that Klid did in game number 1, but no, it's going to be the Gnar lock-in for Kingen. Happy to take the Gnar into Renekton matchup, one that we saw work out very, very well in our first match. As Solka thinking about what he wants to do, I think a jungle makes some sense here. You don't want that pool to be too pinched. But Pyosik does have a very extensive champion pool, so maybe they're going to lock in something else instead.
I think that I really like it's again, it's, you know, it's the big Gator, it's Rascal on Renekton, so I think that's fine. I think if there is a team that will utilize this early game power, it will be Gen.G, from what we've seen from them, even last game, right? Because early game was not the problem. They had favorable trades, they found their openings, they played to their win conditions well. It was just that they seemed to get tilted after a couple of fights, didn't go their way. And, you know, Solka just gonna be in there. And there we go, there is the Orianna. I think the Orianna does not synergize super well with the Nidalee, but it is a super comfortable pick, and it allows you to, even more so than with the Azir, augment Ruler and Rascal.
Yeah, that's right. It's also his most played in solo queue as well, so maybe just going back to a bit of comfort here for Karis in the mid lane. And I'm happy to see it. Now Gen.G probably going to focus out the jungle a little bit, as the Lilia will be banned away. Taliyah and Olaf already gone, so... Sorry, Taliyah and the Udyr already gone. It might just be an Olaf ban to come through from Gen.G, and then they'll see exactly what Pyosik wants to do after that. Jarvan taken away from Life, I love it. Perfect, give him the respect.
It's actually interesting, because that means we're going to see like a full-on bot lane pick here from Gen.G, and I would love if they go for a support blind pick and give Ruler like the counter pick that he wants. I think as Gen.G, you can go that way, like try and enable Ruler. On the other hand, you have a top side that you want to play through, right? Like Nidalee wants to play through Renekton. That is an incredibly strong 2v2 that can dive, that can snowball, that can really put the hurt on Gnar. And you're going to need to do that as Nidalee as well, because I think, as we already established earlier tonight, that the Gnar in a vacuum does pretty well against the Renekton. It's when Renekton gets ahead that it becomes like not really manageable. So a solid blind pick would be fine here as well. This I would not be a huge fan of, because this would be a resource intensive pick, and it would open you up to a fresh counter pick.
Yeah, that's what I'm really scared of here, is I think if they just lock Thresh, that makes way more sense. They're not going to do it. Maybe not respecting the fact that Becca can just pick it away, but I would 100% just go for a Thresh pick here on Becca's side. Even if it's not necessarily the greatest lane with Kai'Sa, right? There are a lot of other things that you might want to do instead, but denying it from the Aphelios is just so important. As Pyosik, of course, pretty comfortable to go back to...
Yes.
Oh, we've got it! Okay! Finally, what Wolf has been talking about all week long. The Mundo comes in. Pioshik's going to be playing it. Clid's been spamming it, actually, as there's the set. So Gen.G will get a free Thresh if they want it. But it looks like Life's going somewhere else with his brain. It's been a really long time since we've had Dr. Mundo. We were actually playing just last night, and our friend Brennan Valdez got extraordinarily gigantic on a Dr. Mundo. We lost the game, but it was not his fault. He was huge. As that's Leona, so this is going to be Ruler having to self-peel on the Aphelios. This could be really difficult for Gen.G.
I don't know how I feel about this draft from Gen.G because it feels like you have a comp that on one hand really wants to dive in, right? Like the Renekton, the Nidalee, the Leona. They want to go in hard engage. Karis kind of enables that, but that does leave Ruler on his own. And I don't know if I'm a big fan of that. Now, Rascal can solo carry games on his Renekton. We've seen him do it, and it's definitely a possibility. But I feel like the Aphelios just seem so disjointed, right? Like Aphelios is a pick that in my mind makes the most sense if you are actually able to give him the space that he needs. When people engage on top of him, right, then you can peel a little bit, and then you basically get them through the meat grinder. That's what the Excel said.
Yep.
And that's what
we are going to be remaking it. We had unfortunately a jungle Gnar, which was unintentional, as you guys could possibly have imagined. So we are going to jump back into the lobby and get everything sorted out. So of course we do have a little bit of a delay, Chronicler. This seems to be what you've brought to the LCK, is just more League of Paws, which I'm a big fan of. You know, we just get to sit back and have a podcast a little more often than we otherwise would.
I really appreciate the, you know, it makes me feel at home as well. As mentioned previously, I am in my home region, the Benelux. We also have had a pause or two, lasting hours at times. And I think it, you know, it brings us closer together. It brings the audience closer to us as well. All of you guys, gals, and whatever you may be, sitting at home, enjoying the cast, waiting for gameplay that is never coming, instead being forced to listen to the two casters making fun of each other
and complaining about not being able to order chicken.
Yeah,
you know,
that's actually, I was super excited about it. You know, I was like, we're going to be done with the games. I've done my first LCK cast. Gonna really, really spoil myself with some nice fried chicken.
And it may not be the case. There are places that are open extraordinarily late, so you will be fine. It's just, it's a lot easier if it's a little bit earlier, but that's okay. We'll put in the extra effort just so that we can actually, you know, celebrate your debut cast here, which I'm just so happy that you made it, because I've told this story many a time, but it took me until March, and we had a very, very tired Achilleos before I managed to get here. But you have made it, like, you were here before February even started, which was very, very impressive. So very excited to have you here, and it's been a good day so far. You know, everyone's got their Chronicler's money worth. You know, like we've had some longies, and look, there have been days that have been over 45 minutes ago.
Yes,
it is not today. Today we may still have 2 hours to go.
Yeah, we most definitely could. If Gen.G win here, which with this comp, we're going to know pretty early, or we should know pretty early if they're going to win or not.
Yeah, true.
Because if that topside snowballs, game is over. If it doesn't snowball, then
game's over.
I guess Aphelios can carry, but it's not a place that you really want to be in with like the comp that they have, because they want to play very aggressively, and Aphelios doesn't really mesh with that. So then it's probably not great. But you know, more hours is more fun for everyone involved.
Yeah, exactly.
Take those.
I think we're getting through this lobby pretty quickly. Hopefully we don't have any swap issues or anything like that, as we're just checking out Clid on your screen right now.
Please no.
Yeah. I'm like trying to have a look at like all the screens in the background. It's like, oh, where are we up to? Where are we up to in the draft? I think we're mostly locked in. So this is good. Here we go. All right. No delays, no issues, but here is the Mundo in the jungle. Very excited to see what Pioshik's going to be able to put together. Most likely going to be the, what is it, the Frostfire Gauntlet build that most people are going these days.
You get big,
and of course, just as many tank items as possible.
So I think Mundo kind of, obviously he's not exactly the same as Udyr, but he has kind of the same niche where he will power clear the jungle thanks to his W in a pretty excessive speed. His early dueling is actually a lot stronger than a lot of people might expect.
Especially after the buffs to his Q.
Oh yeah.
Well.
It's not just your Q. It's like the combination of the Q in of itself is really strong. But the E, like the lower you are, it's kind of an Olaf effect, right? Like it's an auto reset, and the lower you are, the more AD you get. And it just, oh, that's a nice shout out.
I love, this is my all-time favorite Mundo skin, the Gonk. The Gonk sound is so good. When you throw that trophy at people, oh my, the satisfaction. Oh god, it's just the best. I'm so proud of you, Pioshik. That's
his
brilliant.
skin choices. I'm not gonna lie, it's actually stellar, right? He always knocks it out of the park.
TPA Mundo, back in season 2. What a time to be alive.
Fleet footwork as well. So this is really nice because as Mundo, you don't really have a lot of great keystones. In the lane, you would obviously go for grass, but in the jungle, that is not it because there is no one to proc grasp on. So fleet footwork gives you the precision chi, which in general is quite nice. But most importantly, it gives you access to extra sustain that Mundo can really use. Not sure if he's looking for like, I thought he was going to go for like a cheeky invade there, but besides the better of it.
And I've got a bit of a quiz for you. Whose skin was this? Do you remember?
I want to say Toys.
Oh, he's the mid laner.
I don't know.
He didn't play mid lane Mundo. I believe it was Stanley.
It could be.
I think it was. I think it might have been top. It might have also been. I don't know. It's so hard. I'm pretty sure it was.
Asking a quiz question and then not knowing the answer.
I didn't know the answer. I wanted you to tell me. You're the analyst, not me. I was watching the series live, but I just don't have much of a memory.
I was as well, but that's a really long time ago. I don't remember. Very sorry to disappoint you.
Well, I can throw it over to the chat. I'm going to bring it up now. We're getting a few Stanleys in there, but I think Lil Balls was the one. As man, it was such a long time ago. We're talking like 9 years since that one. As Kingen has hit Mega and done a fair bit of damage there to Rascal. But let's instead of just talking about which TPA player managed to get this this skin on lock for us, so that we could have the very satisfying gonk sound. The clear seems to be working out pretty well. We've got mirrored starts here for both of our junglers, as both Clid and Pioshik get a similar click, I guess, but Pioshik farming a little bit faster, as you'd want on the Mundo.
Yeah, I like the Mundo clear a lot. Like, it's really fun to min-max. It's the same as with Olaf, right? Where you kind of want to be in a sweet spot of you don't want to die, but you also want to get maximum extra AD from your E. And then managing that with the burn that you have, and that's unfortunately a miscleaver, but getting those as well, making sure that you don't spend health on those. It's really, really nice. Now, of course, Mundo is generally the strongest into double AP compositions, what we've seen Engage here on live, but
yeah, a bit of a
really
fight.
want to go in. They're fine.
Nope. Yeah, Becca gets a bunch of his health back. He's going to be absolutely fine.
Because his ultimate has the most value, combined with the native magic resist that he gets against ability users, because an AD carry, like a late game Rule, is still going to shred through him, right? Like, it's going to take a little bit once the items comes through. But Ruler should not have that big a problem. But Karis is not going to be able to. And Clid is going to do absolutely nothing. And the fact that Clid can't really throw spears makes me... Please go Moonstone, Clid. Please do it. Please don't go Night Harvester. We're all asked that you have a great AP source. And someone is going to tank literally all your spears and be happy about it.
In fact, towards the end of the game, Mundo should probably heal off taking a spear to the face.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
It's what it sort of feels like. Yeah, you're exactly right. We'll see whether it is going to be the build choice here from Clid. He has gone Moonstone before, but on Lilia. And didn't go the Moon Staff build, didn't go all the way. But is certainly an option here. We'll see whether he has done the research and worked it out. As you can see, Ruler actually poking Bow down quite nicely here on the bottom side of the map as he equips his Gravitum. And Clid just goes down, puts a little trap in the brush. And now they're going to move on up.
This is an exceptionally classic LCK game, I'd like to say. Really the game you're looking for, you know, when you've had 15 pauses. Yep. And this is the 5th game in.
And also, it's as far as the skins, by the way, there was a Nunu, so you might think that that was the jungle. The Nunu was support. And so it was Lil Balls. It wasn't Stanley. TPA Shen, of course, exists, and that is, of course, Stanley's skin. I want to say thank you to Achilleos for giving me that information. Thank you so much, Achilleos. As, yeah, just shout-outs all around as Kingin. Just going aggressive onto Rascal. This is how the matchup works. And it shouldn't be a great time, but you can see Rascal is actually keeping up decently in this lane.
Yeah, like I said, I think that in a vacuum, this matchup is pretty good for now. You can counter the Renekton. It's just you don't have a lot of leeway for mistakes, right? Like if you get caught in mini, if Clid visits and like you're not ready, you don't have your Mega charged up, or you get caught in the stun lock, it goes really, really bad really quickly. But if you're just allowed to 3D also, proc hyper, then you're going to do great. And that's what we're seeing here. Rascal, we know how good his Renekton is and still not able to really make it work. Whereas Solka, he's looking comfortable, but who's looking even more comfortable is Karis, which I think is good after game number 1. I say...
oh, he might just get solo killed as the orb comes down. There's the shockwave. Solka taking a lot of damage. Karis eating through this potion as fast as he can. And he's going to say he got a lot of value from his Merc Treads on that one. That was real dicey. I think that's largely on Solka, though, to be perfectly honest. As Rascal going aggressive underneath his turret.
That was very close. I might have cursed him there. If you die there, that's really bad for the matchup. Like, really, really, really bad. Because if Syndra ever gets kill pressure on you as Orianna, you can't really play the game. Now, one of the problems that you do have with Mundo Jungle is, like, he's a clear beast, but so is Nidalee. Nidalee has more general utility, right? And mobility as well. And that is something that Mundo is just not going to have until you actually get to the teamfight stage. I think he's a great duelist, but he doesn't bring CC, right? He's basically Udyr, but instead of Bear Slap, he has like 15 health bars.
Yeah, and also a slow, you know?
Yeah.
A bit of a slow. Nice work. He's also going to be really frustrating because he doesn't die. And
maybe that was legitimately like the call from DRX is like they can't deal with super fast clearing, like in your face, speedy Gonzalez junglers. So we're just going to pick another one.
Yeah. Let's just find Udyr 2.0. This was Pioshik being annoyed that his Udyr was already banned. He just found another Udyr.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Although this one has good skins, but I'd say not as good as the one we just had the pleasure of witnessing. And I think it's the kind of game where until we actually start to see some fights and we start to see some action, I don't really know what to expect. And Rascal goes in here.
Yeah, good little stun as the dice comes out as well. Kingin gonna have to try and kite this one as best he can. You can see Rascal holding onto the flash, knows that the trade flash should be there as old Kingin flashes into the brush. Clid is here though. Kingin still trying to hop out, gets it onto the last minion in the queue. And now Clid's still looking for it. Kingin knows that he needs to keep running as the spear is going to miss the flash forward, and that's going to do it. Clid locks down the first blood for Gen.G, and they knew exactly how important that was. Snowballing this top side is huge for this team.
Yeah, I would have preferred to see that kill on the Renekton. Obviously, it wasn't possible due to the circumstances, because as I said before, I think Clid should go Moonstone here. So this is not a situation like the Pina game we saw earlier today, where we were like ecstatic to see him get super fed and basically one-tap people. Was Harrison's problem.
That step was really nice, but it may not be enough as Becca is going to get the flash out. There's the two-man shockwave, but the face break is too good, and Solka will lock down the kill on the Orianna.
And Karis not having the debut that you dream of, whereas Ruler is saying, oh, thank you, I get a solo lane. That is very nice.
Yeah.
Good luck, have fun, Bao. And Bao says, no, I'm not having either good luck or fun. I would like to see Gen.G try and contest these objectives more. Like, obviously, with Karis dying, you can't go for the Rift Herald, but due to the pressure that Ruler has, I would like them to see them go and put some actual pressure on this Drake. Don't really seem to be doing that, though. Instead, they're going to go for a Hail Mary Steal. That would have been really cute, but didn't actually come to fruition.
It was very exciting. However, Pioshik, he had the position, moves it out of range just slightly. We'd like to say calculated, but it probably wasn't. And now
we'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
All right, calculated 100%. Extraordinary play. As Kingin up here continues to shove, has himself a few plates in this one, and Mundo not going to be throwing him a bone or anything with Shelly being put down as Kingin gets a Nara onto the wall, but the spear is going to connect. The wallop only onto one as Clid looking to chase him down, and you can see Rascal just backs away and says, Yep, you can have it cleared. 2-0 now for this Nidalee. Real scary. And it looks like we're not going to have our wish, by the way. Not going to be the Moonstaff. I think he's just going to go Night Harvester again.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And this is just a classic overextension, right? You already know that they're topside because we saw them move up earlier. Rask or Ruler had already given the signal that Becca was most definitely somewhere on the map. Not sure where, but he was going out, so you should not be allowed to catch. And this is the power of the Nidalee Renekton. We talked about this is what we wanted to see, and I'm really happy to see King gets consistently punished. I'm gonna say again though, I feel like okay, he goes for the Sonyas at first, so he can still save it. I feel like specifically against Mundo, you're just not gonna get spear value. Like I just don't see it, and I might be wrong. You know, maybe he'll be threading the needle and Bao will take a spear and be immediately out of any fight that we have, but it seems like a risk that you don't really need to take.
Ooh, Shockwave gets a flash. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, this build, like you're talking about, is still flexible. So he could still get there, but it's going to be relatively delayed. As Kingin just farming things out. Yoshik in position for a potential counter gank. As the map goes dark, and Rascal might actually get dove here. Shelly, she's going to pop down, and yeah, these gonks are starting to hurt from Kyoshik as well, who has that ulti running. Gets underneath this turret. They do want this dive, but Clid's going to turn up now. The turret down extraordinarily low, and the teleport comes in from Gen.G. Pyoshik a little bit too far forward, and he will be taken down. The Nidalee gets another kill. Now 3-0-0.
And this is a problem that you do run into with the Mundo. As I said before, like you can't really lock this Renekton down. Rascal starts off that play by clearing the wave, making sure that they can't dive him reliably, right? They need to like actually make an effort, get on top of him before it feels good, before it's convenient, and quickly taking care of it. Now the Rift Herald tanks it a little bit, but despite that, Kingin and Pyoshik, they just don't have the damage. Rascal is pretty resistant against like all the non-magic damage coming out from Pyoshik, and just the cleavers are not going to do enough. The combination of like the empowered kill the meek as well as the dominus is just a big problem, and eventually they would have killed him, but then Clid comes in, Karis is there, and it's a force that I don't think is really necessary.
Yeah, it was a little bit unfortunate. We'll see whether they can put it back together. As you can see, it didn't really hurt Pyoshik in the jungle as far as his farm is concerned. But Gen.G do just have an organic 1.5k gold lead, and a lot of that is on the Nidalee, which is the thing that's really rough about this one. Grabbed himself a Rift Scuttler. Now Karis continuing to put pressure on Sulka, having to play further and further back, just given the power level of this Nidalee here this game. Scout of the Week comes down. Clid sets up shop yet again. As another Shockwave. This one's going to go wide. Maybe not the greatest positioning there, but that's fine. You miss every shot you don't take, so I value the fact that he went for it, you know?
Also feel like there's no objective, right? Like it looks awkward, and Karis has not had the greatest of debuts, but simultaneously there's no objective. There shouldn't be any fight for like the next minute and a half, so you don't really get punished for this as long as you don't now get killed. We see Clid also going towards that bot side.
Ooh, there's the phase breaker. The showstopper comes down. Life in a lot of trouble as Pyoshik. Can he land the cleaver? Looks like the answer's going to be yes. Haymaker comes down. Pyoshik actually grabs the kill in the end as Clid looking to come on in here. Moonshot does come in, but not actually able to do enough. And Ruler will just clear up this minion wave, not being able to actually answer with any sort of kill as they are setting up here. Becca on a ward. Now Pyoshik not so much. Now they're looking to go home. As okay, another face breaker comes in. Ruler knew that he was there as the flash out from Bao, and that's what Ruler was expecting. He's just got too much damage. What the heck was that spear avoided from Bao there? And the flash forward from Clid. That's awkward. That's real uncomfortable. Zhonya's does come in. The flash, and Ruler grabs the kill, takes a couple of turret shots and survives. The cleaver goes wide. What the hell are we watching? There's Rascal fighting with Kingin on the top side. This is less interesting, but still cool. Oh my god. Why? Ruler's too good at this game.
Ruler is so insane, Atlas. Like, the fact that like he knows the limits of his champion so well, because you see Becca Hexflax on top of him, and he knows this, right? Like Ruler knows that is going to happen, but that you know,
he watched it channel.
That you know, like the fact that you know that just the sheer power of having those specific two weapons, right? The combination of the lifesteal with the chakrams, like we've seen so many of these meat grinder Aphelios highlights, but they've become rarer and rarer, specifically because Aphelios was like, it was tagged after tag after tag of nerf. And then to see Ruler know the limits so well, being able to catch that Void Seeker for his teammate, because it looked like it was straight up trolling there. I say as a Rescue getting real low. Pretty sure this is rough.
Yeah, Dominus underneath the turret. Taking a lot of hurt here from these cleavers in the form of trophies and the wallops, but he is able to make it under his limping turret and will make it back to safety. Becca putting down vision, and they will be able to lock this one up very comfortably. Let's have a look at the replay of these shenanigans on the bottom side.
So initially, they know Mundo was here, right? So this is entirely orchestrated by Gen.G, like they handshake this. And I think that their thought is as well, if they can just stall out long enough here, with how fat Clit is, as well as the power of Ruler on this Aphelios, you're actually able to turn this around. And here we go. The limits testing of Ruler here. He knows that this is going on. He knows he's there. And then being able to sidestep the Haymaker to put this much pressure out. Clit then almost ruins the play by getting really greedy for the kill. And at this point you think it's over, right? Like, it's not going to end well. And then Ruler flashing forward to not only get the kill, but also make sure. And then Pioshik not finding it because Clit is standing in front of his teammate. Oh.
Damn, he's so good. He's
so good.
And gets a big old Naisu at the end. I like it a lot. Karis will be able to get himself a blue buff. And it's, of course, you know, not the end of the world for DRX. However, if Ruler's going to continue playing like that, I am very scared. Still, doesn't have all of the peel in the universe, and Pioshik should be able to go where he pleases. He is, in fact, Mundo.
And we've seen this happen before, right? A Fede. Oh,
nailed it.
Oh, guys.
Yeah, that's not a high value Shirley.
No.
Shirley's like back in the void. She's like, what the heck are you using me for that for?
Why did you ask me here? This is so awkward. Like, you invite me to this party and then you don't show up.
Yeah.
It's rude.
Embarrassing, really.
That's what it is.
Absolutely. I'm gonna make a formal complaint on behalf of Shirley.
I mean, I don't know if she can, right? I don't think she can ride with the void clause. She could probably do a phone call though.
Yeah, that's true. I think she can get someone to transcribe for her, I'm sure.
I think that should work. Do you think Rek'Sai and Shirley speak the same language because they're both like void creatures?
I think so. Or maybe Kassadin is just like, he's the void translator.
Oh, I would love that. But then, by extension, Kai'Sa should also speak void, right?
Oh, that's, I guess, theoretically, yeah. I like the idea of like Kassadin being like void G-Sun though.
Yeah, right.
Kind of cool. And everyone thinks Kassadin for the translation, you know?
I can see that. Oh, Pioshik walking into a trap here. Or not. Never mind.
Is he? He's level 11, you know. The ulti does a lot of work. But Gen.G are just going to back away. Of course, so not a lot to actually be here for, as the, I believe, red buff is going to be spawning relatively soon. Spear is going to connect, and it will be pretty immediately ignored by Pioshik there.
That is kind of my problem, is that normally I'd be like, oh yeah, you're fine, Pioshik. If you're playing as like a Senna, or, you know, a carry that is not Aphelios, I think Kai'Sa's not great, but Azaya also would like take a lot longer. But Aphelios with Kraken Slayer, like, he just shreds through everything in front of him, on top of him, so quickly. And then the value of this Mondo is kind of reduced to being a person that is going to tank Clit Spears, who is indeed going for what we hoped he wouldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We sort of saw it coming, but still sad, as Clid's going to get tagged by a Void Seeker. Sulka here towards the bottom side, just trying to get some damage on this outer turret. As you can see, Gen.G, the lead is extending, but it's only 2,000 gold, and DRX, they win these because they like being behind in the mid game. That's their comfort zone.
Maybe, remember Nuggery, where like the joke was that if you went 0-2, you had lost the game?
The 0-2 power spike?
Yes, maybe DRX is just like a team made up entirely of 0-2 power spike people. Maybe that's why, like, the trick to win against DRX is to give them a lead early, and then they'll throw it.
Oh my goodness. Maybe that's the 5. Maybe we've figured it out.
Maybe it's just as easy as that, right? Maybe people are trying to overcomplicate a very complicated thing.
Yeah.
They win when behind. So don't let them be behind.
Yeah, just you try and feed them in the early game. I wonder which team is going to be the best at being able to do that. As you can see, throwing down a little turret here on Ruler. And he's got a Runon's Hurricane as well. Like, he's just so scary. I mean, we're talking about like team-wide 0-2 power spike, but if you go 0-2, all of you, then that's 10 kills for Ruler half the time. At this point, it is 2-0, but Clid's also very, very strong.
That's also another reason, right, why I feel like I would have liked the Clid. I'm not going to harp on it too much because, like, we made the point. But, again, I feel like this happens with Gen.G so much. Rascal didn't really snowball. Like, he's still going to carry his weight in team fights. I think Rascal is, by far, the strongest team fight Renekton that we have in the LCK. I don't think anyone can really match how much he does in team fights, how much damage he's able to soak up and dish out. But the focal point of this composition, yet again, is going to be that Aphelios. I don't think Clid is really going to be able to chew through that front line of Becca, Kingen, and Pioshik. And he should not be able to easily find backline access with scattered weeks like that.
That's real scary. Good poke damage out from DRX here as the Cloud Drake is going to be spawning in 10 seconds. Another Cloud Soul, thanks Atlas.
Very welcome.
Sad times. But, I mean, it's just, we're playing to the script right now as Rascal moving on in. Kingen's here. The Gen.G set up with 4 people in position, and DRX a little bit sluggish on their rotation down. They should be able to get here for a potential 50-50 if they want this fight. But Becca not actually going to have time to get any sort of flank, and Rascal is in the perfect position. Clid locks down the Cloud Drake. That's Cloud Soul. You can see Rascal moving into the backside. I say Soul, I mean Soul Point, as there's a 2-man shockwave. Big Gnar into the back as Rascal hasn't been able to get in on this one at all. And look at Ruler. He cleanses the Ignite at exactly the right time, but it's not enough. He's still out of this one, and it's a double kill for the Mundo. Give him the triple DRX. He deserves it as Rascal's trying to get out of there. He failed flashes, though, unfortunately, and they should be able to get him. The Void Seeker's going to connect, and there are the boomerangs. Becca not actually able to find the Haymaker, and Rascal's just a little bit too fast. And so I think he should be able to make it. 3,300 damage for Dr. Mundo, by the way. This guy's the carry.
I was about to ask you, who do you think did the most damage in that fight? That's not okay. How does Pioche, like, I'm gonna ask it again, how does he keep getting away with this? Like, Mundo has a lot of value, but you'd expect his value to be in the strength and speed with which he clears, in his dueling potential, his ability to soak a lot of abilities and be like a really big nuisance on the front line. The amount of damage coming out from this man, it's a Cloud Drake that is picked up by Gen.G, so even though this team fight looks bad, it's not as bad as you might initially think. But the main problem is here, despite like Clid finding a very nice flash away, that Ruler can't play the game, right? Like their front line is in the back line. Yeah. That's the whole problem. Like Rascal and Live, the ones that are supposed to peel for him, are not there. And if they're not there, then you are basically immediately in a heap of trouble. Rascal, we're not going to talk about that one. That is very unfortunate and not something you ever want to see happen. But
having a look at the inventories after that fight, Clid's like, well, Oblivion Orb might need to be purchased, and so immediately puts
worse.
That one together.
He already had it in that fight.
Oh, did he?
He did, and he's still like, they still couldn't do anything to the Mundo. And this comes again down to, there's only one person who can deal with this guy. It's Ruler, and if Ruler can't play the game, Gen.G has an incredibly hard time winning. So Rascal needs to be in front. Live, he can engage, but then he needs to get back to Ruler and allow him to actually get somewhere, because Ruler, I think he will get blown up by Bao, right, if he's in an awkward position. Becca can just slam into the rest of the team. Na is self-explanatory. I think Pioshik is, funnily enough, the only one that Ruler can deal with, right? Because Pioshik's damage won't be enough to, like, deal with Drain Tank Aphelios.
Yeah.
I'm also starting to think that Pioshik is like SOFM, where he just plays, like, there's one build, and that's his build.
Yeah,
it's Chem Tank and Deadman's Blade, and if you let him play that, he will carry you to the heavens. Like, he will find a way to make you win, and it shouldn't work, but it always does.
He's like a Viking, you know. He's got his weapon of choice, and he's going to take that to Valhalla. Okay?
Yeah.
That's
he's
how
committed.
it's going to. Yeah, and it's a dead man's plate, and it's a chem tank. So I guess to each their own. You know, normally the Vikings have an axe and stuff. I've seen an Olaf before, but not this time around. As Rascal is able to take down that Siege Minion in the end. He was slicing a little bit early. But as we can see, Nago's back home. We're going to check out the money here, as Solka has a decent advantage over Karis. Being able to find a little bit more side lane farm by the looks of things. As Pioshik looking to try and get down here and ruin Rascal's day a little bit.
This is Operation Sneaky Crocodile, because if he gets found there, he's very dead. There is no one there to help him.
Wow, that was a little bit sneaky. But did have some support coming up. As I can't help but feel like Ruler's not going to be safe enough. Because his flash is still on cooldown. If a fight breaks out now, like, he has no way to reposition. He needs to be in perfect position at the beginning of the fight. And even then, like, okay, Bao, if you take spears, then the Killer Instinct not going to be quite as dangerous. But Bao does have all of the agency to get on top of that squishy backline carry. And then, if Ruler's dead, Mundo kills everyone. Because he can't be killed. It'll take him a while, but
he'll get it done.
There's no way that anyone can actually counter that.
So I think from that perspective, the Cloud Soul also helps because Ruler has more ability to kite back, and we all know how well Ruler can kite.
Yep.
Now, Aphelios is not necessarily like the champion you think of, like Ashe or Varus, where it's like it looks super smooth, but still gonna augment you. If you needed any more proof that King has one job in this game, and it's to kill Ruler, he went for the dive bomb build. He has a GA second. Like, he only has one goal. That's just get in the back line, find a target, and then if he dies, doesn't matter. He will take someone with him.
And also, like, I love the GA because what it is it's zoning even when you're dying the first time, right? Because you still need to respect where the Gnar is because he can pop up and potentially, boomerang you and continue to do damage. So I really like putting that there, understanding that Kingen does have that one job like you're talking about. And this is another one of their jobs. They need to try and deny this Cloud Soul as much as they can, and they are going to be able to do so. Clid going to be a little bit late to the party, as you can see. In goes King, and Clid's immediately going to go golden as Life pushed against the wall. Clid might just be out of this fight immediately as teleport comes down from Gen.G. Ruler is free hitting though, and that GA that we were talking about is not going to quite find that value. Life standing on top of him as Rascal just slicing on him there. He's in the Thunderdome that this Dragon Pit has created, but Ruler had full control, and unfortunately DRX chose the wrong fight.
And yet again, it's Gen.G that are able to bait DRX into a fight that they are not particularly looking for. It starts off really well with the like that DRX is going for the preemptive Drake take, a sad the Soul. Generally, you just don't want to give it over. It's just never going to feel good, even though it's a Cloud Soul, thank you, Atlas, the least efficient of Souls. It is still something that provides an immense amount of value here for Gen.G. And if you can deny it to them, you will feel very happy about it. Also denies an inevitable Elder. But what we see here is, interestingly enough, it's like the opposite of what happened last fight, where, Ruler was just zoned away. This time, Rascal is basically keeping 3 people occupied in the backline, right? Like, you look at this fight and you see Ruler kiting back and forth, really nothing happening thanks to the really nice stopwatch from Clid earlier on. And Ruler just from the backline. Pioshi can get on top of him, he doesn't have the damage, but it's, to me, Rascal that just slows them down to the point where they can't really hard engage. And now Ruler has an Infinity Edge and another BF sword and a Baron as well. And he's ready to play some video games.
And he's going to have a really good time playing these video games as well, because he was, like you were saying, the answer to the inevitable Mundo. And it's starting to feel like this Aphelios is just getting far too big. As Life off to the side. He's had a bit of a quiet game so far, but when it's the Ruler show, often that's what happens. Pioshik still just trying to throw these gonks around, you can hear. Clid's still taking a bit of damage from those, as they're just trading projectiles. Thumbs up from Teemo, as you can see DRX, they're not deterred just yet. And with a 3,000 gold lead, it's not exactly the end of the world. And they haven't, forfeited the soul just yet or anything like that. Ruler will be able to extend this gold lead by taking down this inner turret. We'll see how this siege is going to eventuate from Gen.G.
So Clid is now moving towards the mid lane, so if DRX look for a hard engage, there is actually a really big risk here. Would have loved for them to go in there, because this is a 5v4, right? Clid is shoving that mid wave in to really utilize the Baron as well as you can. That guy is looking for that flank.
And Bao's just taking so much free damage, though. He can't actually step forward whatsoever. Becker is pushed out, like you were talking about. Clid's still in that mid lane. He should be able to take this tower for free, and you're right, it's just not quite making your mind up on whether to take the play or not, as Rascal soaks a bit of damage there, but isn't too worried about it. DRX looking like they've lost their idea of how they want to take this game from this point on. 5,000 gold is now the lead for Gen.G. Rule is just so scary. He's a level ahead of the top laner of DRX.
The thing with Ruler is, even though he doesn't have Guild Force, right, he went for like the full Tank Buster build, which against the opponents makes a lot of sense. He still has both summoners available, and DRX's engage is fairly telegraphed if you don't find a flank. Outside of Deka going for like a flash play, which he does have available, but if you respect that, there's not that much that they can do, right? Like Pioshik, he's soft engaged. Like he can run at you and be annoying, but can't really force you into a fight that you don't want to take. And that is a problem that DRX are running into now, where you can try to hard engage, but if you don't do well and Ruler stays alive, you have a big problem.
Well, this is the Gonk engage. That's what we're going for now. It's like throw as many trophies as possible into Gen.G. And Gen.G say no. They know all about trophies, and they're just not going to accept it. As Ruler moves back into the mid lane, he'll shove that one out, and now he's got about a bajillion items to go put together. We'll see what he collects next.
That's good. I felt like he was kind of weak this game, so I'm really happy that, you know, he's finally hitting the spikes.
Yeah. As we've got a couple of Void Staves. I'm just going to leave your attempted jokes. Just
no, I feel no. That's completely fine. You know, it's my first day. You got to give me a hard time. I understand. I know how it works. I get it.
Yeah, I'm just letting him sit. Just letting it sit.
It's making me feel bad about it, and then just pointing it out, and then leaving it still. Yeah, I like that. Appreciate that.
That's the plan. 13 seconds on this Cloud Drake. And this is one that DRX want to fight for by the looks of things, as Becca standing on a ward. This is not where you want to be as the set, but isn't going to get collapsed on or anything like that. Rascal in the front line. It's exactly where he needs to be. As Void Seeker's going wide, Boomerang's going wide, Trophy's going wide. And Rascal, he's going to stop Becca from being able to get in here, actually, as you can see.
I love the flank control here. This is something that they had a really big problem with in the first game. It looks like they might have solved it here.
Yep, another Gong comes in here as the Moonlight Vigil goes down. That's going to be the steal, actually, from the Kai'Sa, but I don't know whether it's going to matter as Pioshik goes down way too low. Bao gets over the wall, and it's looking like a whitewash. Into the backline goes Rascal and just obliterates DRX. Kingen looks for the ulti onto Karis, but he just Zhonya's, then flashes, and then he's able to take down Bao as well. Over the wall goes Kingen. Rule is still alive, by the way, and this means that the game is most likely over. Kingen trying to waste as much time as possible, but Rascal has a teleport, and they'll be able to grab this Guardian Angel and take down the Gnar pretty comfortably. That's the ace, and that should be the game. We're going to a game 3 once again, as we're not going to be having dinner, but we're going to eat League of Legends for dinner, as we've got as much of it as we can possibly have. Ruler should easily get rid of these. And Gen.G, they fight back in game number 2.
6 games on the first day, I'll take it. Incredible performance from Gen.G here after a really shaky game number 1. I'm very happy that they respect DRX enough in the second game to clear the vision, right? Like, you know